you live a long time, you live 50, 60, 70 years, only to look down and you're like, there's nothing I've, achieved spiritually, and even, in your spirit, you feel you've just walked on the wrong path. Sometimes we take the wrong paths because of, as you've said, social pressure, peer pressure, economic pressure, all these things. But there's nothing in this world that gives peace of mind like doing what God wants you to do. And there are a lot of people, trust me, who are even watching, who are going to watch this, who are going through a phase in their lives where they do not understand themselves anymore. Like they look at their lives, they look through their lives and they just do not understand themselves. And a lot of times, I have to be honest, the societies we are in, I always talk about this. There are a lot of people who have stories that are similar to mine, very, very deep stories of how they've interfaced with Christ, interfaced with the spiritual realm. But because of the pressures around them from their parents, their church, even in the church itself, because actually, let me just use this time to give you just a little story on how, after I met Christ, I began my first ministry. This was in South Africa. So I literally traveled from here to go to South Africa because I was I was kind of ashamed, starting up a church where I've grown up from. And also I was like, let me go to a country where they don't know me. I can start my church from there.
But you're a pastor's son. Why should you be
I know. I'm a pastor's son. I'm a very avid Christian, but I reached a point and I was like, okay, if God wants me to do this thing, I'm going to go to a country where no one knows me. And I went to South Africa, to Pretoria, and I began a small ministry there. So the first time I began ministry, I remember I saw a manifestation of an angel. A real angel came to me and held my hand. I've shared this story before as well. So it was a very scary thing because I was in the room alone and the angel came and ministered to me certain things. Now, when this happened, there was a church nearby where there was this bishop and all that. I went to this bishop. I told him about my angelic experience. And you know what he told me? He's like, okay, just wait for me there by the chairs. I'm coming back. So he came back with some papers, an admission form, and it was for a mental health facility. You can imagine. And he was like, you need to seek help because
you need psychiatric help.
Yeah, you need psychiatric help because so I looked at myself and I'm like, is this really where I've reached? Am I running, crazy? And it wasn't until that's when the Lord told me that no, not everyone is going to understand you. Now, there are so many people here in this world who have similar stories, and you may find even deeper